Hello, welcome to Have At Us, Reviews for Your Pleasure. I am Joshua.
And I'm Nietzsche.
This is episode 27, Hakuna Matata. And we are here to discuss for you our honest opinions, thoughts, feelings, and hot takes about The Lion King. All we want in return for providing this pleasure is for you to have at us. This is your spoiler warning.
Now, I feel like we're not spoiling much for most people, right? When did this come out?
1994.
1994.
That was a bad year.
I was potentially alive when this came out.
Potentially.
But potentially not. This movie is really well beloved. That's my favorite part about watching it as an adult. I had not seen this since I was a child.
The amount that people love this film is staggering. People worship this film. It's the best thing Disney's ever produced, supposedly.
I can understand why you would like this as a child. I think this is a decent, well-made children's movie. I don't understand the people I've met in my life who are adults, and they're like, no, Lion King's still a good movie. Like, I watch that like once a year or so, or like, sometimes with more frequency I've met people. Like, I watch this like once every couple months or so, and I'm like, how?
Why?
Because it's so good to them, okay? And I don't fully understand what's so good about it, but you do.
I struggle to find the positives of this film.
Well, let's start with some positives then. Let's start with one positive from you.
The best character, I suppose, would be Zazu.
That sounds like you're questioning it as you said it. Like, I'm not even sure now that it's coming out of my mouth that that's true. Like, Zazu, I guess.
Zazu isn't on screen enough for me to think he's fallen from his laurels, but it's not very high, right? Everybody went under the limbo bar. Zazu's still under the limbo bar, and they all suck. But Zazu at least has a couple lines that is funny, and I at least understand his position.
What are these funny lines here?
I don't know that I know specifically what they were so much as context of. I like how he's trying to be the second in command. I like how he's dutiful and he tries to watch over Simba, but he gets a little angry with, the brattiness of the kid. It's more his interactions. I think they're pretty decent.
I think Zazu's a decent character, but I connect with Zazu. He's just trying to do the right thing. Right, he's just trying to maintain order, follow the rules, make sure the king has, what he needs to run his kingdom. I think it works. I like Zazu. He's not, great, but he's alright. I don't know that he's, magnificently better than any other characters. I don't know that he's my favorite. I feel like there's, decent. They're all kind of just decent.
I don't think most of them are even decent.
Who's the worst character here? We'll swing to the opposite end of the spectrum.
Simba.
Simba is the worst.
Simba sucks.
Alright, let's hear why Simba sucks.
From the beginning, He's a brat. He's just kind of arrogant. He's kind of stupid. He doesn't really come across as worthy of being a successor to me. And it's like, alright, you're a kid, I get it, gonna make mistakes. But it's just this arrogance that's like, okay, you're kind of unlikable. It's like I'm reading a fantasy story and your character meets a young nobleman that will eventually become a lord. And he's just kind of a brat with a big hat on him. That's Simba. And it's like, okay, well, I don't really like you at the beginning. And then later on in the film, your actions are so boring and unconvincing in your thought process that I just find him unlikable. By the time he's back at Pride Rock, I don't care. Just get this over with. This guy sucks. I don't really like his interactions with Nala a lot, at least when they're older. And I don't really like how he just, forgets everything. I don't know. Everything about him just rubbed me wrong. I also think his choice of voice actor for an adult voice of Matthew Broderick was really weird. It didn't sound right to me.
I think his voice acting was fine. I don't know if I should know this kid or not. This Matthew Broderick kid.
Ferris Bueller.
Never seen it.
Okay, yeah.
No, I think the voice acting is fine. None of it was like, oh wow, that's bad. But none of it was good.
In general, I would say most of the voice acting for the lions, I didn't really care for. Maybe Nala's the best, but I wouldn't call it good.
Nala gets to be the best, huh?
As far as that goes.
It sounds like some sexism right there. That's all I'm hearing, is the woman gets to be the best.
Yep.
So disappointing. But I don't hate Simba as much as you hate Simba. He's fine. He's a believable, kid. He's, thinks he's all cool and hot stuff, and he's clearly not. Not at all. And then he screws up, and he almost gets his girl killed. And I was like, oh, wow, guess what's gonna happen? Mufasa's gonna come save you. And he does. I don't know, he has the best song in the film.
I just can't wait to be king.
Yeah, I think it's just a fun song with the visuals. I don't listen to this song in my free time, because the visuals are part of what make the song work.
I'm not in love with that song. It's okay. It's probably the second best song to me. But I feel like the visuals is what kind of ruins it. I don't really understand where all these animals come from and how they're making these towers. And it's not just like a montage scene that doesn't really happen. After the song's over, you see it like all these animals scatter, implying that they're really doing these things, which makes it really awkward to me. I don't like that.
Oh, I have no problem with it. I think it looks cool. Whatever. He's the king's son. They're at the watering hole. Like, the watering hole, not a watering hole. All the animals were there, okay? There's no real predator-prey thing going on, except for in the lip service we pay to it.
Yeah.
So it's fine, okay? But I guess we've started on characters. We'll continue down some characters. We'll move to Nala. Nala is a kid, like when she's a cub. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then she comes back, and I'm like, oh, okay, you're basically the same boring character. You don't have any personality. You're just like an adult lion.
That's pretty much it. She's very boring as a kid. She doesn't have enough presence to do anything except run from some hyenas. And then she comes back, and the only thing she really has going for her is she seems to be a competent fighter. But other than that, what does she do? She's just like, oh, we've been looking for you. You should come back and save us. I'm like, why don't you do it? Like I get that this guy is supposed to be king, but if it's so bad, why don't you lionesses just kill this guy? I don't really understand.
That'd be unheard of. You can't do that. You gotta do it in a nice way. This is a children's movie. Remember that?
Yeah, so bring this other guy back and have him kill him. That's the solution.
He didn't kill him, though.
But that's what they wanted.
They wanted the duel. That doesn't necessarily mean he had to die.
Sure.
He could have just shown up, and then Scar gives up because he's weak-willed. Well, he's not weak-willed. He's a weak, frail lion, is how he basically implies it to be. And he is smaller than than Mufasa.
Yeah.
And Simba, which are the only other two male lions we get to see. Which is fair. I don't know that I think that she is like a good fighter as much as Simba sucks.
That's pretty fair.
Because Simba, sucks. At all points, just gets pinned. And I'm like, okay, buddy, you suck.
Yeah, that's another reason I don't like Simba. It's like you don't back up anything. You just kind of suck in all your aspects. I'm not rooting for you.
You were just rooting for destruction and mayhem.
Would have been more interesting.
I guess Mufasa. Well, we should talk about Mufasa.
Yes, of course.
Do you like Mufasa at all? In any fashion here?
I don't know. He serves a role.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to see what the role is. Be an inspiration. Be cool. But does any of his actions lead me to really like him as something more than I would just expect from a father? Not really. He doesn't really seem to be this great leader. I don't see him having done anything that's made the kingdom better, other than it being... I mean, it's in a better state than when Scar is in control, but Scar is a totally different person. But otherwise, we don't really know anything about Mufasa other than he's the king. And he's not that interesting outside of his connection to Simba. And since Simba sucks, I don't really care about that.
Just all the hatred. Man, I do not hate Mufasa. But I don't really love him. I don't really think that he is that great. I don't think that he has any, grand fatherly wisdom that's, super great. He's just a father figure. He seems like a decent guy. Everybody likes Mufasa. But yeah, I'll give you... We don't really know what's so great about him. But the point of the movie is Simba and how great he is. And I just don't know that you caught it as well as you should have. Maybe you need to watch it again.
Maybe. That's the solution.
Maybe we'll watch it again, and then we'll do another review, and we'll hear how good you think of Simba.
Yep, let's do that.
I think that's the solution here. Then you get the best character, though. You know who the best character is?
Scar.
No.
The hyenas.
No, you get Rafiki.
Ugh.
I don't actually think he's the best character, but I figured you hated him.
I don't hate him like I hate Simba, but I don't care about him either.
I think his best deal is when he hits Simba while he's an adult, and he makes his point about, like, yeah, the past, can still cause pain, but we can learn from it, and then he swings at him again. And it's just a really well-made point. That might be the best point in the movie.
It's clever.
Because it works really well, and it makes a lot of sense, and I feel like we boiled a pretty complex idea down to a very simple deal that a child could understand.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad scene. Well, that section itself is not bad.
You almost gave it some praise, and so you had to back up. I saw that, yeah.
Well, it surrounds or is bookended by bad scenes, so...
But Rafiki, in and of himself, yeah, he's just kind of weird. And he's supposed to be weird, and I don't really get why he is so cool and just kind of weird. I don't really get why he's there in the end. Like, I don't feel like he does enough for me to justify his presence in the story.
I think that's a common problem with all the characters, though, is that almost none of them get time to shine or develop in any meaningful way outside of Simba, and it kind of makes them forgettable or uninteresting until they get their pivotal moment, if they even get one, and then that's about it. You move on from them, and you're done.
That's fair. I mean, it's not a long movie.
No.
It's a kid's movie. It's really meant to be, kind of a fun story with Simba. We got Scar to talk about still. There's no other real characters outside of Scar, is there?
There are. Timon.
Oh, they don't matter.
They're pretty important.
Scar. Let's hear your thoughts on how great Scar is.
Scar falls in the fine category.
It's not offensible.
Pretty much. I like Be Prepared, his song. I think that's the best song in the movie. I actually like the song. I'm not going to go out and listen to it necessarily, but I like it in the movie. About it. Otherwise, I think he overplays when his interaction with Simba, on that first interaction. He's like, oh, my nephew, and oh, I didn't mean to say that. Oh, silly me. That kind of thing. It's a little hammed up, and I get it. You're trying to convey to the kids that it's hammed up. You're trying to convince Simba of your, genuineness. But as an adult, I don't really like it a whole lot. It's a little too much. But as a character, I think he's pretty okay. He's just the bad guy. It's interesting that he has a direct family connection to Mufasa and Simba. I kind of like that he's actually like an actual family member. That's kind of a neat dynamic. And I wish we had done a little bit more with that, but...
What more do you need? Their family. He kills his brother.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see maybe their past relationship growing up. Mufasa and Scar, maybe see their relationship a little bit more. Because at the beginning, all we see is that Scar clearly has it out for this guy. But why has he waited so long to enact any plans? How long has this guy been king? How long have you been gunning for the throne? Where does the animosity really start and why? Do you just think you should have been king? Which, I suppose that's the reason, but there's just not that much there. He just wants to be king because he thinks he's smarter.
He is basic, boring, bad guy to the T. My issue with Scar is that I don't understand why he's a radically different color.
True.
It's always just been something where I'm like, yeah, I get that he's the bad guy, and that's probably the justification. He's the bad guy, he needed to be a different color. But I don't really understand.
It's weird.
Even as a child, I was like, I don't understand. But besides that, Scar is the bad guy. He serves his purpose. Be Prepared is not that great of a song. Let's be real. It's just kind of boring, and he's not really singing in a very interesting fashion. The visuals are better than the song.
It's not unfair.
But I guess we could talk about Timon and Pumbaa.
Do you think those are maybe the most popular characters outside of Simba? Or, I don't know, people like Mufasa, don't they?
I don't know what people like about this.
I'm not really sure.
Just that it's great. Like, everything's great about it. So yeah. I don't know what pinpoint things are like that stand out and great. But Timon and Pumbaa, I do legitimately kind of forget about them.
They come in pretty late. It's like halfway through the movie. Thereabouts. And I'll tell you, I don't really understand... When we first meet them, we have buzzards or something picking at Simba because he's dying. And then they just come out of nowhere. And I'm a little curious as to why these two would be out in the middle of nowhere. I don't really understand that.
They're not in the middle of nowhere. You can see in the camera shot that they are pretty close to the edge of the oasis, I guess. I don't really know, and they're doing it because it's their Bowling for Buzzards game.
It didn't look like they were near the oasis from the shot to me. It looked like they had to travel a little bit back to get to the oasis.
They had to travel like 50 feet, maybe.
I don't know. I'd have to really look at that again, but it looked like they were a little bit out there.
I mean, they were not far. But anyway, you're wrong. I'm right. Their introduction is kind of weird, and I don't really enjoy them, at all.
Of the two, I would say I like Pumbaa more. But, on both of them. They try to provide comic relief. I guess they almost succeed for the most part. I think they have one scene that's kind of funny.
What scene is that?
The hula dancing thing. I don't think it's necessarily funny. I just think it's funny because I didn't actually expect it to happen. Like, it's so outrageous of a scenario. And then you have Pumbaa with the apple in his mouth, which is pretty funny. But that's probably their best scene. Otherwise, their whole life's mission seems to be irresponsible, don't really care about anything, just walk around eating and live life. And that's it. And oh look, there's a lion. He could be a pretty good bodyguard if he's on our side from the beginning. And I guess that makes sense. It also makes me think, how many years is Simba with these guys? Because Simba can't be that old at the beginning of this film. But he's had to have gone a couple years, it seems like, with Timon and Pumbaa. He's probably spent more of his life with them than anybody else.
Yeah, I'd go. He's probably with them 2 to 3 years. I wouldn't go anything beyond that. But maybe, I don't know how fast lions really mature. But irrelevant. Timon and Pumbaa are never funny, okay? They just kind of suck. Yeah, they're not humorous. They're not intelligent. The jokes were like Pumbaa is actually saying like the right thing in an intelligent fashion. And then he's like demeaned for it. Not funny. Just not funny to me. It kind of reminded me of in one of the Narnia books. I'm going to spoil this right quick. The animals talk in that clearly. And there's an ape and a donkey, and the ape is pretty smart, and he's just, like, always putting down the donkey and, like, telling him how stupid he is, basically. But, like, much more clever fashion. You're thinking, see, that's the problem. Like, you gotta leave that to me. And it's just, and that's what it reminded me of. And I was like, oh, this is not good. This is just kind of stupid. But their whole life's mission, I'll remind you, is Hakuna Matata. I don't know how you missed that. There's a whole song. It's the name of the episode. Like, were you paying attention to this movie?
As much as I could, without falling asleep.
Wow. That was a low blow.
What can I say? Step it up.
Disney has stepped it up. They have better films. We've talked about some of those. But, talking about good old Lion King, I don't have anything else to say about any of these other characters, I guess.
Do you enjoy at all the hyenas?
Oh, I forget about them. I think they are fine. Like, they're typecast, and they work. I like that Ed is honest.
Is he honest because he's an honest character, or is he honest because is he too stupid to know any better?
He is definitely too stupid to know any better. But I will take what I can get, right? I will take that they stick it out with this guy. For some reason, there's a ton of hyenas. But for some reason, they stick around with Ed, and he consistently screws them over. Consistently is like, yeah, I'm gonna tell the truth in this situation where we're trying to lie. I don't know why they put up with this. At all. At all. I also don't really get why they were gonna kill, like, Simba, knowing that he is the prince, basically. Like, why would you do that? That's a bad option.
It's a bad idea.
Like, you fear Mufasa pretty heavily, so we're gonna purposely invoke his ire.
His wrath.
Yeah, like, I don't understand. That was kind of a weird scene in the end. But most of this movie's kind of weird. We'll go through the story, I guess. At least parts we haven't gone over. We've got to start right at the beginning here with what I think might be the best song anybody's ever heard in their life.
Circle of Life.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about this song.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your professional opinion of this song. It's
more than fine. I think it's good until we get to the English section, where the woman vocalist actually comes in. And then it sinks so fast. I think it opens cool. I don't remember what language it's in, but I think that's neat. I would have preferred the whole song to be in that language. That would have been way cooler.
It doesn't fit thematically to do that. Here's the problem with that. I like the song from when the woman sings Onward. That's the best part about this.
That's really funny.
I hate the beginning of this song because it sounds like I am listening to people just sit there and like chant and scream about stupid things. Like, it doesn't sound like these words have real meaning in the language they're even in. It just sounds like people are screaming for no reason. It's kind of like the Razadhan night theme in 14.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You actually listen to that?
Yep.
And you get the weird section where they're like doing their weird scream thing. I don't know. I hate it. Drives me insane. I have teleported away from there and waited till daytime to come back to do my business. Because I did not want to hear it. I could just go in and turn the background music off.
Yeah.
But no. I left and I found other things to do. Anyway, that's what I think about Circle of Life at the beginning. It's just nonsense.
Completely opposite opinions.
But then she comes in and she's got her cool little lyrics that set the theme of the Circle of Life that we kind of do things with sometimes. And then we kind of forget about it.
We wrap it up at the end.
Like, it's thematically present well enough that I will move on. But I don't love it. Like, I don't love the theme of that. We get to see all the animals out there doing their thing. Celebrating, I guess that Simba is born? Or that he is like...
You got an heir.
I guess. I don't know. I was like, great, Simba's here. I don't really get why Rafiki is there and like he's like the priest of the savannah. I don't really get it.
He's the wise old man.
He's not wise, realistically.
Well, I'm just saying, among these guys, what are the giraffes doing?
They don't even get a line, okay?
Exactly.
The whole, like, the setup is kind of weird. Like, it works, and I feel like it works from a child's perspective. Like, as a child, did I ask that question? No, I was like, oh, Rafiki's, it's just a monkey guy here. Okay. Moving on. He's the shaman guy, I guess.
It's a really iconic scene, with him holding the cub out.
Oh, yeah, I see memes about that, and I also see memes about the, everything the light touches is our kingdom.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh, it'll be like I haven't seen this meme, but I feel like it might exist. It'd be like in the 14 community, because we're just going to keep going back, I guess. If they were like, from the 14 perspective, it'd be like, everything the light touches is our kingdom. And then he's like, oh, what about the darkness over there? And then we'd probably be like, that's the WoW community type thing. Right? That's how it gets used a lot.
I see.
When I see it, I don't see it super frequently, but yeah, it's just kind of like a dividing wedge line, basically. Like, those are the heathens, the rejects, the dregs of whatever.
The hyenas.
The hyenas, that's what live there in the actual film, yes.
Yep. It's a moment of the film that starts the film. That's what's best about it.
It starts the process towards the end, is that the...
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that the best part of it for you?
Pretty much.
I don't hate it, I just think it's a little weird, and it starts bad to me. And I just don't understand as an adult, like, why are all of the animals coming to praise that there's a new Lion King? Like, wouldn't you be a little saddened there's another Lion King? Because the lions are not your friends, necessarily.
I don't know.
Like, as an adult, it's kind of weird, but I feel like from a child's perspective, I didn't have any of these issues.
I didn't watch this as a kid. Or if I did, I have no memory of it.
That's your problem. You don't have the child's perspective to look back on.
Very true.
But then they end up in the graveyard, and we've talked about that. You got anything else you need to say about that?
They're idiots.
They're idiots. Well, we already knew you didn't believe in Simba.
That's true.
He got hit with the stupid stick, and you believe that.
Rafiki. Right? When he's, doing his little thing at the beginning, maybe he hit him with the stick on accident, and we didn't see that. But that's the problem.
Simba got dropped as a child, or...
Yeah.
Not clearly from the height of Pride Rock, but...
Well, I wouldn't rule it out.
Wow. Oh, that's mean. But then he goes, and he basically gets coerced by Scar, and you got the stampede. Stand
in this really weird spot in this valley for some reason. It's a surprise. I'm gonna go get your father. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, It's just so obvious. Like, I don't even know that a kid falls for this. And I get that Simba's like, 4 months old maybe. I don't know. But come on. This is weird.
Look, if I took a 4-month-old child and I just set it in the middle of the road...
The child's gonna die.
It might stay there. It might not, though. But it probably doesn't get seen. It would probably get ran over.
Yeah.
That'd be tragic. But that didn't happen with Simba. And that's good news. Just, one brother killing another brother.
That's what it's all about.
Now, you know what the real problem with that scene is, though?
Let's hear it.
The stampede is shown to not be incredibly long.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like this stampede by the end is like 6 times the length it started at.
I agree.
And I just think that's a massive oversight. You should have never shown me the end until it actually ended and Mufasa was dead.
I agree. I also just don't think... What the heck were the animals?
I don't know.
I'm gonna call them goats.
Okay.
The goats. We should have seen more of these goats out in the pastures. But we didn't seem to see that many. And then we have the stampede that goes on for 3 hours. It's 100 miles long of goats. It's a little unbelievable.
Are those antelopes? Is that what those would be?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Gazelles?
Sure.
I don't remember.
We'll call them gazelles. Gazelles sounds better than goats. My gosh. But that's my real problem with that. Like, I think it's interesting that we actually kill someone in a Disney film.
That's cool.
Because I feel like it's not often, right? I can't think of any other Disney films where, like, someone's, like, dead.
Isn't it normally, like, the dad, though, that does die in a Disney film?
Well, men suck. Men do risky, dangerous things.
I don't know, like, it is cool, because Disney doesn't do it a lot. Or at least didn't. I don't really know where we're at in the modern day. But it is unfortunate that it's like, oh, it's the dad who's the king. It is on the predictable side.
Well, it's predictable because it's, Scar's over here, like, clearly plotting something and wants the throne. Yeah, he's gonna kill Mufasa. And then he's gotta be a conniving jerk, lie to Simba. Simba runs away.
Now, there's another problem I have with this film. That's connected with him running away and with him coming back.
Let's hear it. So
when he's running away, they're out in like a desert oasis kind of situation though. But it's like high plains. There's no sand dunes, right? It's just rock, dead land. But when he's running back, he is running by sand dunes. Like just huge dunes of sand. And I don't understand the geography of this place. It doesn't really connect very well or make a lot of sense. I had a problem with that.
Well, they're in a gorge in the Stampede, and they're clearly not that far away from Pride Rock. So Pride Rock's much, nicer and greener and goodness.
Uh-huh.
But then we're clearly not that far away from the Oasis thing over here either, which is just like cracked rock desert status.
Yeah, until it's a massive forest.
Yeah, until it's an oasis.
Yeah. So where are these sand dunes coming from? Why are they there?
I'm just saying that all of that's a lot of geographical things in one place. That seems a little unlikely. Like, none of these things just seem that far away from each other.
But they imply that it's decently far because now I have to, like, travel to get there.
I guess.
But then when Simba comes back, right, he leaves everybody behind, doesn't warn anybody because he's a good dude like that. And then somehow, like, all 3 of them are just caught up as soon as he gets back. Like, it's like seconds and they're there. And it's like, okay, I don't really know how you manage that.
Because it's not that far away, that's what I'm saying.
The geography just doesn't make sense. It kind of brought me out. I didn't like it. I thought it was a problem.
That's fair. Again, something that I think as a child, though, no way. No way do you pay that much attention to that.
Oh, sure.
You're engaged, you're having a good time, Simba's about to die, the hyenas are going to kill him. But they don't. He gets away. And then he almost dies, and then Timon and Pumbaa are bowling for buzzards. And they pick up their good friend. They have their montage scene, and it's great. Not really. It's mediocre and it serves its purpose. Like, Simba, at least to me, is believable in, like, why he ran away. He's an impressionable young kid. He's been deceived. He feels like he's got to keep this to himself, so even when Nala comes back, it's like, okay.
I understand the running. That makes sense.
But I think his situation makes sense, right? That's the deal here. Him surviving on bugs, though. Not doing it for me, let me tell you.
Yeah.
He is malnutritioned.
A growing lion. Bugs. That's working. Yep, there's a lot of them. I mean, these are high-protein bugs.
They must be. They're like protein bar bugs, basically.
Yeah.
He's having a good time.
Smorgasbord.
Maybe he just eats all the time. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it seems that they do.
Well, they eat frequently, but they're living the good life, okay? They don't have to fight anything. There's no other animals
Other than bugs.
that live inside the oasis.
Mm-hmm.
No other animals came passing through when Pride Rock Land got all destroyed by the unbalancing of the ecosystem. Nothing. It's an untouched oasis. Except Timon and Pumbaa found it. I also don't understand about Timon and Pumbaa. Why Pumbaa has a backstory. But Timon...
None.
Just a meerkat that sucks.
I could see the meerkats not liking him. They're like, you're just annoying. Get out of here.
I think in like the other films, or maybe like the 1.5 film, he gets a decent level of backstory.
I think so, but I'm not going to subject myself to that.
No?
Not unless people ask me to.
I think people need to ask for us to do the rest of it. I do not remember either. Well, I never remember liking 1.5. And I don't remember anything good about 2. That's it, right? There's not a third one?
I believe so.
Alright.
Part of my problem with him meeting Timon and Pumbaa, and then you get this montage of Simba growing up, is that it doesn't feel like he's organically become their friend. He's just started singing with them, and now it's been a few years, and we're friends, and it doesn't really feel like it's been any time at all. It just doesn't feel natural in its transition, and so the relationship feels literally the same when we exit the song as it does when we enter, and it's not very long before he's getting whisked off by Nala. It's weird. It doesn't flow well.
2 things here. 1, the pacing in this film is not great. It's just kind of very quick and just like boom, 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 and it doesn't give you enough time to really invest in anything. And I feel like as a children's film, I think that works really well. Children have a shorter attention span. It's nice just to, boom, move on and do your thing. I think that works. Second point, I just think you underestimate the power of song. I'm going to go in tomorrow and I'm going to start singing with my coworkers. And then we're all going to be on happy, good terms after that.
I think you could give them $1,000 gift card to Amazon and they would still not feel that way.
Irrelevant. Them in the Oasis is whatever. You get them having their little, stargazing scene, which was not great.
It's where we find out that Pumbaa's actually, really smart.
I guess.
He just knows.
I don't know. I didn't care that much. Nala shows up, and I really wanted Simba to win, right? The little thing.
So that he's kind of grown up a little bit.
Just so that, we show like, oh man, as kids, they were on kind of equal footing and she was a little better. But because Simba is now big and cool, he can pin this woman to the ground. But he doesn't. You're looking at me like that's the wrong way to phrase that.
Pinning a woman to the ground is a phrase that could be taken out of context.
Well, I'm glad you're looking out for me here.
Yeah.
Anyway, they use the term pin.
Yeah, they do.
So that's the term I use.
We can move on.
Okay, we're gonna move on here. They end up and they have their little song.
Which sucks.
I don't hate Timon and Pumbaa's version, right, when they're singing through things. Really, it's just Timon. Because I like that he's over there like, well, this is the end. Like, we're screwed. We're losing our buddy. We're losing our bodyguard. All because this woman comes flaunting along.
Sure.
It's kind of funny. It's different. Bad. It subverts expectations, and it works.
My problem is that I don't believe the chemistry between Simba and Nala. It's just like they meet each other and they're like, wow, it's so cool that you're alive. Dang. And now we're in love.
I mean, they have their little thing at the beginning and they're betrothed to each other.
Yeah, but it's been years.
And she's elated that her betrothed is alive.
Yeah, I just don't buy it. What does he see in him? He sucks.
Look, just because you hate Simba doesn't mean that Simba does not deserve love, okay? I need you to not be so mean to Simba. Simba can have love, even if you don't think he should.
Do you know who wrote these songs?
No. Would you like to tell me?
Elton John.
I don't hate Elton John.
And I think it was also with Tim Rice. I don't really know him very well. But Elton John's a big name. And apparently he wrote these, like the 5 premiere songs. It's interesting. It's a big name to get behind your film. But man, he Not my favorite body of work of his.
Anyway, Elton John, outside of, writing music, irrelevant. But then Simba comes back, right? And now we're at the best confrontation in the film, basically. I mean, he gets this little scene with Rafiki. I said what I needed to say about that.
So, with Rafiki, there's the scene where he goes to the pond, and then he looks up in the sky, and he sees his dad in the clouds. And man, that is just so unfitting. I hated that. That actually, really bothered me. I didn't like that scene at all.
He tells him before he dies that, your fathers are looking down on you. Your ancestors are looking down on you. Why was that weird?
I didn't take it in a literal sense, because that's dumb.
Oh, okay.
These are animal lions up in the sky that are gonna materialize and start giving you real world advice. Be like, oh, it's okay, son. You've done well. No, he hasn't. He's ran away from home and lived an irresponsible life and hasn't done anything. And sucks in every way. And then he's gonna come back and still kind of suck.
Wow. So much hatred. Is this what I sound like at almost every other episode?
Maybe.
Maybe? That's good to know. I think it's hilarious. Simba makes it back with Mufasa's grand advice that made total sense for him to be up in the clouds like he said he was going to be. So I don't know what your problem is, but he comes back, and I feel like they really fail here. I don't really believe anything about what happens, basically, at this point.
The fire from a lightning strike that has burning down Pride Rock.
The deal here is that they have already stated, we gotta move on. There's nothing here. We gotta move. But then the fire happens, and I'm like, you definitely have to move.
Right?
You are years away from this ever being habitable.
Right?
Nope. They just stick it out, it seems like. And I'm like, this is weird. I don't like the fire happens for dramatic effect after we've already said that the ecosystem is screwed over and nothing's going well. But then we, have our weird fight scene thing, and we can't let, Simba kill Scar.
That'd be wrong.
Yeah, that would be too much.
Get out of here. Never come back.
And then the hyenas kill him. Presumably. Maybe he takes the hyenas out, though.
That'd be kind of interesting, at least. It would at least make it believable that he was in charge of them.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have much else to say about the ending. It just kind of sucks in all aspects to me.
It goes by pretty quick. That's a positive.
I wasn't necessarily overly bored with this film.
Oh, it's not that I'm bored. I just don't like it. The ending, right? I said the one part I liked with Timon and Pumbaa. It's okay, all things considered. But after that, you get Rafiki coming in and he does this weird kung fu kind of move. And you're like, yeah, okay, kids film, sure. But the fight between Simba and Scar, I'm just like, Simba's not a good fighter, and I get that Scar's not supposed to be either. But I still am, in the back of my head, I'm like, why did Nala never just take this guy out? He's clearly superior, and he could have just killed this guy, and it would not have been a problem. All the lionesses would not have had a problem with this, guaranteed. The hyenas, I guess, would have, but, these things suck, apparently. This monkey's taking them out. You got a freaking Timon taking them out. I don't really understand what their threat level is. It would have been more interesting if Simba had actually killed Scar. Not this whole goody two-shoes, just walk away thing. Straight up, just take him out. You're a lion. It would have been more interesting. I would have respected him more in that moment. But he just fails.
I agree, it's not great. It's pretty boring and not grand.
I have another thought about this, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
So Simba becomes the new king.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool. Does he now gain all these lionesses as his harem?
That's how it works.
Does that include his mother?
It'd have to.
It's a little weird, isn't it?
He could be having sex with his own mother.
Whew.
We don't know if he had sex with Nala.
We don't know.
And that was the child that came out.
Well, it's also just, even with Mufasa, and he has a harem of lions. That makes sense. They're lions. But you only see 2 kids, being Simba and Nala. There was no other. Was he a new king? He hadn't gotten around to getting more kids? I just don't understand.
Look, here's the deal. He needs to make sure that he only gets 1 male child. And he was good on lionesses at the moment, so he pulled out. Okay? He was pretty good about pulling out.
Smart.
Because he wasn't getting oral play or something, because that's not working very well.
Yeah.
Sandpaper tongue, teeth everywhere. That's not happening.
That's scary, yeah.
Or he's using the other hole.
God. Maybe.
Oh, this is...
These lions have truly taken on the aspects of human.
Yeah, this is degeneracy at its finest.
Well, these are important questions.
This is basically, we just launched into incest and furry conversations. We're good people.
But, we do know that Simba does get one kid there at the end to complete the circle.
Of life.
How beautiful.
I know you were shedding some tears like that.
3 of them.
Was that like, finally it's over?
Yeah, the pain. It was relieving, and I was so elated.
Elated, even?
Yeah.
Whew. I wasn't elated. I was like, alright, it's over. I didn't remember that you got shown you having a kid. Great. Alright, done. You got any other grand things you need to bring up? Any more hatred you want to spew? Maybe you want to sprinkle a positive in here just for kicks?
The animation of the animals are pretty good. For, the lions.
Well, they had to interact with lions. Like, the animators had to, spend a day with lions.
Yeah.
They came over from the zoo. And they're like, alright, you're gonna interact with the lions. And apparently, it was a rather terrifying experience, because no one told them. They're just like, oh, hey, come on over into the room. And they open the door, and there's just 2 lions sitting there.
I believe that.
And they're like, you guys are gonna interact with the lions today. And so you can draw them and animate them better.
I think it'll pay it off. I do think they're pretty good in that aspect.
Yeah, I don't hate any of the animals or any of that. Yeah, I think the animation works just fine. Their sound cues are fine.
Art style's pretty decent. Although, the female lions I go back and forth on. I don't really know that I like their look a whole lot.
Okay. What's wrong with it?
They just kind of look like an egghead to me. They're really bald. And I get that they don't have a mane. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying they look bald to me.
Okay. I think you need to get your eyes checked.
Yeah, there's just something about them. I'm not a big fan of them.
Well, you're not a big fan of anything in The Lion King.
Giraffes are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like the goats.
You got anything that's not nonsense?
No, not at all.
To attribute?
No.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure. And it'll bring us a lot more pleasure. You'd have at us. That's in the title. That's what we need from you. And you do that by commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing this. Leave some suggestions. Please make it, more Lion King stuff. Because Josh here, he's feeling a little saddened that he doesn't get to experience this level of hatred very often.
That's true.
So we need you to leave any suggestions you want, really. Our social media links are in the description. You'll follow that, click on whichever one you want. We'd appreciate that. Thanks for listening.
And there's something more you could do for us. You could go out to the savannah yourself and join a pride of lions. It's probably going to be a little scary, but I know you have the mental fortitude to overcome that. I have complete faith in you, but I need you to go do that and tell those lions that we're looking out for them and that we're looking over their king and we're proud. Or, well, maybe one of us. I'm not, but...
I'll be proud if you get, more exposure for us. And that could be, the media comes in and sees you living with the pride of lions and you're like, my inspiration was Have At Us, the podcast. You shamelessly plugged that right in for us.
That'd be great.
Well, let's get to the best moment scores. Let's hear your 10 out of 10 score here.
Well, it's not going to be that high, but it's pretty high. I'm going to give this a very good 3 out of 10.
I'm giving this a 5 out of 10.
Have at us.